Alrighty. I just wanted to share some more techniques that we used. Um, Now, it's something I forgot to say. It's very important that you know that Z subliminally suggested the number 4 to me, and I never knew why. I connected it to 4 days before my 33rd birthday, and it was on my grandmother's birthday, but that was the only thing I could connect to it when he told me that. And then I also connected the number 9 to Z because Z, I believe, is connected to like the Hermetic order or something like that. And so 4 and 9, I deem Z's numbers. Like Z is 4. I I made a synchronistic number schematic, which I'll go into after this lesson or after a few lessons from here, and it will be part of another lesson. But the number schematic is now programmed over all of the world, and I will go into this. We, I think I'm connected to hidden persuaders who can manipulate time and space just as well as I can, and we will prove it to you that it is possible. And my numbers are 2 and 7, so I was always a shift key off from him. I was a 2 shift key. And Darren Brown, we're gonna have a little birthday joke for you because I know 2s and 7s align with your birthday. My social security number is all 2s and 7s in a row, and they interlock in the middle, making 27 and 72. So I am in sync. I'm super, super in sync with 2s and 7s, 72 and 27s, 77s and 27s, and 70, yeah, all of them. Well, anyway, this is a technique we use right here. Oh, hang on. I'm going back right here. So, right here. Boom. So I nicknamed this Alphabet Stew. And what we did was that I went and I did the 26 letters of the alphabet, and I picked like super, super high intelligent entities. So I picked like quantum physicist. I picked a monk. I picked analytical analyzer. I picked an astronaut. All sorts of things like this, and I listed them in a row. When I listed them in a row, I listed them in alphabetical order, and I did it all the way to 33 entities. So it's 26 plus 7. Yeah, it's gangster. It ends on the G, right? G is the seventh letter of the alphabet. Well, anyway, so now I have a list, and when I have this list, what I do is we use alliterating conversational hypnosis with an NLP looping weave. Okay, and basically this is just a mnemonic anchoring system that connects each entity to the next entity. Okay, and the definition of a mnemonic anchor on Google is a specific place in a semantic network of knowledge that forms a coherent association with the learned piece. Okay, so each letter represents an entity of a higher intelligence. Okay, so this is how it works. So as you go down, you're just going to the next one, and you're using and you could also you if you want to do this better, you can use a synthetic pusher, which is frequencies to push it and change your frequencies as you're and also there are frequencies that will lower the depth of your conscience for you depending on what frequencies you use. Now, I'm not going to tell you which specific frequencies, but it's very easy to figure out once you have a synthetic device that does this. I have never ever touched a synthetic device. I've only been DJ'd wirelessly by outside entities. So I only know the knowledge. I have not ever built a device myself, but during these lessons, have a sense that they're going to give me all the knowledge to teach y'all. All right. So now, as we're going forward, why are we doing this? This sets a ladder in the mind. As it progresses forward, um, uh, as it progresses forward in the alphabet, your depth of consciousness is dropped and the speed is slightly sped up. So as you go down, you're going from your self conscious down into your subconscious, and as you're doing it, you're slightly raising your frequency. And when you're raising your frequency, it means you're thinking faster, or you're thinking your thoughts are going to go faster. So, but you're going in your mind like an inception, instead of staying outward, and your focus is going inward instead of going outward. So when you do this, you're more in your mind, and you're disconnecting from like your feelings and all that, and you're more dwelling in just thoughts. Okay. And your vision, like you're not looking out your main focal lures, your eyesight through due to light, you're not using that because you're focusing on your thoughts or your memories. And now this is kind of an example of how it works. You see, I just wrote it, and when your frequency gets raised, all it is between 1 second intervals, you're just gonna have more peaks and troughs of your frequency. I mean, of your wave, and basically, it's more repetitions per second. Now, um, and this is like a visual example. Now, the deeper your depth, the less intelligent you will be unless you train over time. So now, as you go down deeper in your mind, what happens is you haven't been in this area before. You've never visited this area. You've never been in this area of your mind. So you have to train it. You have to teach it. And you could build a super intelligence in your mind on different frequencies and different layers. Once trained, once trained, a specific area may grow in intelligence. I'm just reading what I wrote there as well. But well, anyway, so when you grow in a specific intelligence in a specific area, which is basically your entity, whichever entity you chose for that layer, or that step work, or that death of your mind, whatever entity you chose, that's the specific genre of intelligence you're going to build. And yes, you should strategically place these in your mind in a specific array. So then one is synchronized to the other one. So as you hand off the information from one layer to another layer, it is better understood, and it makes it go quicker and faster. Like you don't want to have, like, math connected to, oh, I don't know, math kind of connects to everything, but you know what I mean. You don't want to have two opposing entities connected to each other. You want to phase it in, just like a color wheel, on tie dye. You don't want to have green next to purple, okay? Because that's just gonna make brown, and that's shitty. You know what I mean? You want to have green next to a yellow, okay? Because that it's easier to blend together, and it's easier to communicate. Now, if you go to the bottom here, right here, let's see this when you start the self-conscious and you go down, this is due to time. All right, 1 minute in real time on your self-conscious level. As you raise your frequency and go down in your mind actually quantifies. Now, this is not literal. I just did this for an example, as a metaphoric example. But what, like, as you go down in layers, 1 minute will turn into 10 minutes. So like you actually get 10 minutes of thought process deep down in your mind. And if you go down another layer, you'll get 100 minutes. But really, in real time, out in a three-dimensional world, you're only using 1 minute of your time. Now, this is the space relation. As you go deeper in your mind, the deeper you go from your self-conscious to your subconscious, you take up less space. You do not use, you're actually using less space as you go deeper in your mind as well. So now you're gaining time, and you're using less space of your mind. Now, people are thinking less space, it's going to be harder to find your memories. No, it is not, because there's ways you can amplify your thoughts and bring your thoughts back up and expand them out. And so now you could take a recording of that layer, and all you got to do is stretch it out into real time if you want to see it. And then there you go. And now you're learning inception, or at least you're learning this is more just like learning how to think in an instant, learning how to think fast. And all this is only from 0 point. And when I mean 0 point, I mean you are not actually going faster than time yet. This is only from it's like a race from the immediate time you thought a thought. None of this science right now is teaching you anything that has to do with time projection or time travel. This is just a step work to get to that. Now, what's the purpose or the motive for this? You want to build a ladder or a bridge in and out of your mind. And what this does is you could use this to interpret your thoughts in and out of your mind or have an instant message. All right, for an example, you see how it says sentence? Don't worry, I messed up with that little scratch out there. See where it says sentence, word, 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 word? Well, you see how I drew that little triangle? Well, at the peak of that triangle at the bottom, that is your inception thought. So you could be thinking a sentence, and now you get a read off of someone else that they're not understanding it. So now you could you could send a sense to your synthetic pusher or a sense to your mind, because you could actually train your mind to do this with mnemonic anchors without a synthetic pusher in meditation and everything like this. And you could instantly go down and you could reprogram the words that you were going to use or say, or even your body language, subliminal body language, or EMDR, to send out of your eyesight to their eyesight. And it helps them better understand, because you just used an inception point between two words, or between an inception point that you could go down in your mind, basically a time gap. You could utilize all the time gaps between your words in real time to have extra thought process, to better suit your thought process. And this was just the very, very, very beginning baby steps of all this stuff. And now, what else could you use this for? Now, when I was using the substance kitty or number 9, what I was doing was I was always in imaginative thoughts, and I kept coming back, and I'm like, man, I could see so much stuff. I could see how to fix the world. I could see how to fix myself. I could see the ins and outs of the world, but I can't bring it back with me. I'm never remembering it. I'm down in my thoughts, and I'm bringing back bits and pieces, but I can't remember anything. So what we did, and when we're down there, I'm like, I know that some of this stuff I cannot do in a real life perspective, because I'm thinking in a 5-dimensional realm. And when I say 5-dimensional realm, that means it's like a cartoon realm. I could like go down an imaginative thought, and I could put together any kind of piece or any kind of relationship I wanted to, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work in a 3D world. But if you layer your mind the proper way, now you have an interpreter that will pass it through different echelons in your mind. And what this does is it takes your 5-dimensional thought, and it interprets it, and it converts it into a 3-dimensional idea. So it redistributes 3-dimensional physical properties that makes it doable in our earth, in our 3-dimensional earth. So now you don't have to hold back when you're deep down in your mind, and you could think of anything, and you don't have to worry about, hey, will this work or will this not work, because you just made a bridge or a step process that brings this out of your mind, and it helps you better assist you in life. And basically you could act like a child, and this is how I made million and billion dollar ideas that I don't know, I haven't decided if I'm going to give any out on the videos yet, but they're very, very impressive. And literally, so now this is why the government as well put me in jail and tried to extract all my thoughts. And this is why I'm getting so much riffraff right now from my probation officers and stuff. So I'm just putting it out there so they know I'm not crazy or schizophrenic. I'm going to teach you how I did it. And this is also for magicians and psychics and mentalists out there. You guys are really going to enjoy these lessons. Now, I just threw this together. I literally got off of work, and this is all old notes, and I'm like fishing through my mind. I'm on an eidetic memory system because the law enforcement kept wiping my mind and my thought process. So when I say identity memory system, everything I think now, all of my internal thoughts gets loaded into a computer, and if I ever need to access them, it will take me to my thought instantly because it has a map of my mind. And many magicians and master hypnotists and master magicians are on networks like this, and I have permission to speak about this. Many others will never ever speak about this, and you'll never get this information from hardly anyone. But I have permission to speak about this because the law enforcement abused me so much, and it's for our safety. And now they're letting me open this information up for a time period and teach it, and it will probably be taken off the internet after a while. And yes, I will go into some science on how you could build synthetic pushers. Start with transcranial either AC or DC currents with the headband, and also ones too is like the Neurophone by Patrick Flanagan. He used to have a wireless one. You could download blueprints for all your techies. If a techie can build an old school wireless Patrick Flanagan device, I would love to receive one for gifting all y'all this information. If I could get a techie to build one for me, every time I go to build one, the law enforcement messes with my mind and doesn't let me build one. So I have all the pieces to build all sorts of shit here, and they don't let me build anything. But this is one lesson that I wanted to step you guys into and just give you guys a little understanding of some of the very first initial things we built. And this is how it's done. So, and Yanja, she said that when you go deep down in your mind, what you want to do is you want to connect it to a visual thought. You want to see a vision, or like something that you know that you already have anchored in your mind, and this helps it anchor even better into your thought process. If you watch any of her Netflix specials or any of her things, you'll see that she is very, very good at explaining this stuff as well. I apologize for the handwritten stuff, but I just want you to know I'm a real person. I'm a real magician, and well, maybe one day I'll be able to be called a master magician and a master hypnotist on top of all my bucket list things. And wait till you see what's going to happen. I love you guys.